اليوم الثاني هذايا فيه 3 محاور. المحور الأولاني على الذكاء الاصطناعي. عندنا ما شاء الله الطلبة يعملوا 66 كيف، على رأسهم بروفيسور نرجس باللمين، المديرة نتاع l'ENSI l'École nationale des sciences de l'informatique à l'université de la Manouba. من بعدها باش نمشيو une session spécialement dédiée للinfrastructure، باش نحكيو على البنية التحتية، على الكلاود. Cette deuxième session est présidée par professeur يوسف بن حليمة، مستشار السيد وزير التعليم العالي والبحث العلمي. بعد باش نعملوا استراحة، بعد نحكيو على التعاون العلمي، باش يحكي لنا لو ديريكتور جينيرال de l'enseignement supérieur على التعاون العلمي وكيفاش نجموا نسقوا في التعاون العلمي مع plusieurs intervenants. المعلومة جست المعلومة المهمة لهنا، كلهم مهمين هما لا محالة. الجلسة الختامية باش نخليوها بعد الفطور، نفطروا بعد نرجعوا نعملوا جلسة ختامية. به نعطي الكلمة للبروفيسور نرجس باللمين. مرحبا بك مدام، نورتنا ونورونا لي ستوديون تابعين لانسي وتابعين ليزام وهبش تقدمهم. تفضل مدام، ليك الكلمة.
شكرا. صباح الخير الناس الكل. شكرا جزيلا. يشرفني أن أكون بينكم اليوم. سوف أحاول أن أحافظ على عربيتي إلى الآخر. إنه تمرين ليس صعبا، بل هي ذاكرة تعود مع الوقت. علما وأننا في تونس نتكلم ونتعامل أكثر بالفرنسية والإنجليزية، سوف أحاول أن لا أنطق أي كلمة إلى العربية. هذا تحدي أولي معكم. أولا يشرفني أن أكون بينكم اليوم في هذا الملتقى، وأن أكون من بين ضيوفنا الكرام الذين نرحب بهم. وأبدأ بشكر السيدة المديرة العامة سوسن كريشان والمديرة العامة للمركز الخوارزمي اللي هو جزء من وزارتنا. ويسرني باش نقدم نفسي في كلمتين. الأستاذة نرجس باللمين بن سعود، أستاذة في الإعلامية، مديرة المدرسة الوطنية لعلوم الإعلامية التابعة لجامعة منوبة لوزارة التعليم العالي بتونس، وأيضا مديرة مخبر ريادي اللي هو مخبر في الإعلامية وفي كل ما هو هندسة البرمجيات. ومن اليوم وقع استضافتنا وطلبت مني الأستاذة سوسن بتنشيط هذه الحصة اللي هي حسب رأيي هي فريدة من نوعها، اللي هي خاصة تجمع ثلة من أولادنا ومن بناتنا الطلبة متاعنا. البعض منهم تخرج والبعض منهم مازال، وعنا المهندس والباحث وعنا التقني وعنا اللي في سوق الشغل، والكلهم تجمعهم حاجة معناها مزيانة برشا، اللي هو شغفهم وحبهم للتطور العلمي ومنه خاصة اللي هما في قلب هالاستغلالات للذكاء الاصطناعي، ونلقاو منه برشا. هذا بالنسبة في دراساتهم ولا في مشاريعهم الناشئة، وإلا أيضا في أبحاثهم. ومن غير ما نطول عليكم، كيفاش مش تكون الحصة السيسيون الحصة هذه، مش نبداو حسب البرنامج اللي تفضلت مجموعة التنظيم اليوم وقدمته. مش نبداو بالسيد إلياس المناعي، ثم سيد أحمد دagdori، روعة ريمش وهدي الهلالي، ورحاب عبيدي. لو تسمحوا مش نسمحوا لهم كل واحد باش تقديم معناها الإجابة على سؤال كما هو في البرنامج، وبعد ناخذوا بعض الدقائق للنقاش ونفتحوا لكم وقتها مجال التساؤلات. وهنا كما تراو فما تحدي آخر، كنا لازم نحترموا الوقت اللي صار فيه، معناها مش نحاولوا ما نفوتوش ساعة للبرنامج هذا. أنا دونك بعد إذنكم مش أول حاجة مش نطلب من السيد إلياس المناعي باش يلتحق بيا. سي إلياس، الحاجة الأخرى الأولاد وبالاتفاق معاهم مش ننتقلوا للإنجليزية لو تسمحوا. تفضل إلياس. أول حاجة إلياس مش تقدم لنا روحك. If you want we will shift to English please. So إلياس مناعي. Yes, please.
Thank
So
you.
Elias Manai, for Elias, I will ask him few questions, and so Elias, please present yourself.
Thank you so much. Hello, welcome, and thank you for the invitation. I'm really honored to be here. Sadly, I'm not as good in Arabic as as Miss, so I cannot speak in Arabic. I will try to keep this in English. So my name is Elias Manai. I am a recent graduate from the University of Manouba. I graduated in 2022 from a Master's of Research. So what I basically did is I started with a Bachelor in Computer Science and Multimedia in Izam Manouba. And then I went on to go for research in artificial intelligence. And this was in 2018, not recently. In 2018, there wasn't a lot of hype and trend about this domain and AI, but we kind of sensed something was brewing at that time in the university. So I'm happy and glad to talk to you what we managed to do in these 5 years together as a team with the university and AI in the MENA region.
Okay. So Elias, please, can you tell us in few words what are you doing now and on which topics you are focusing?
All right. So I'm currently a instructor with the NVIDIA team. NVIDIA is the company that made the GPUs, so the graphic processing units. So I'm an AI and data science instructor with the team. I just got promoted. So I've been doing this for like 6 months now. And as a part-time thing I do as for fun is I'm an expert with Google. So I'm a machine learning expert for 2 years now 1 year and a half now with Google, and a startup accelerator mentor with the team. So I've been doing a lot of supervision, a lot of mentoring in the startup sphere, both locally and then internationally. So now I'm a consultant. I've been doing this for 3-4 years now. I've been with InstaDeep in Tunis. I've been with a lot of incubators in here. And now I'm just focusing my career with NVIDIA and hoping to start my PhD in AI soon.
Excellent, excellent. And you are still living in Tunis?
I love Tunis.
No, just to mention that he's working with NVIDIA and Google and he's in Tunisia and not abroad. That's just to point.
It's way better when you get paid in dollars and spend it in dinars.
Okay, thank you. So, can you please tell us 1 or 2 challenges you think are the most prominent and relevant for today?
All right. So the thing about education. So I specialize in education. It's not a lot of engineering or research, but mainly education. I've been doing this for 5 years now, and I managed to break the milestone of 10,000 students taught in the last 5 years in different stages. And what we have managed to see, the main issue, let's say, is a lack of, a lack of supervision from the older people, from the alumni, let's say. So the problem is that once a person reaches a certain stage of seniority, let's say 2 to 3 years in Tunisia, they immediately go abroad and get a better job. And what happens is that we do not have a lot of seniors and a lot of people that have been through a lot, and we cannot learn from them. What happens is that most of the people that you find here and you can talk with are juniors like yourself. And so there's progress, but it's very slow, and you have to keep building from scratch. And this is one of the main challenges that I did not find elsewhere, because if I go and work with a team in Germany, a team in the US or in Canada, we always have a board of directors that have been have 40 years of experience, 50 years of experience. They give you the shortcuts that you need to get what you want. And that's one of the concepts that we don't have here. And so the problem is, in all the communities we find, Facebook, Instagram, Slack, Discord, whatever community you're in whatever domain you're in, it's all the same questions. Where do I start? What research should I use? How should I do this? Which are all the beginner questions. So the main challenge we have is that we can't build to, let's say, level 100, because we are stuck with level 20, 30, and 40 in Tunis, and the rest is outside. So that's one of the main challenges. The other would be money. So we don't have hardware. In data science mainly, we don't have hardware. In robotics, we don't have hardware. We don't have the funding for that. And it's very difficult to be able to work on big projects if you don't have the necessary material. Data science and, let's say, computer science, you just need a laptop, and then you're good. Data science, you need a powerful laptop, which is not in the price range that everyone can get. But in the end, one of the good things, however, from that, is that out of all of those hardships, we can get some really good diamonds that manage to make a breakthrough and get known outside and manage to go back then in Tunisia and give hope to a lot of people. So that's one of the good things that is great.
Thank you. Just to go further with this nice discussion, how do you think that these difficulties or limitations can become opportunities, and how to solve them? From your point of view, of course.
Well, how we can challenge this? To be very honest.
Yes.
To be very honest. And again, it's backed by the past 5 years. There are way more limitations and challenges that could be of opportunities. And why is that? It's, again, because of the lack of long-term investment, long-term projects. Because the thing is, in education, you meet people. And like half of the 10,000 students I taught are now not in Tunis anymore. And you keep teaching in university, you keep teaching in boot camps, you keep teaching with NVIDIA, for example, and then 6 months later, they're all outside, they're not in Tunisia anymore. And so that's one of the challenges. You cannot build with what's there. And infrastructure-wise, I'm sick of talking about data science. It's not robotics, and computer science is not my domain. In data science, one of the main limitations that we have for now is the fact we don't have the hardware or the data or the skills to be able to project that. What happens, the good thing is that we managed with that to get a lot of support. So the good thing, let's say, is that we can get a lot of funds and support from international communities, like for example with, again, NVIDIA and Google that are now sponsoring a lot of events in Tunisia. They are sponsoring a lot of boot camps. They are sponsoring a lot of events. And that's one of the good things that we can try to do is we can get all of those experts and all of those funds and build something with it in Tunisia. So that's one of the good opportunities that we can get with that.
Okay, very nice. So to do that and to achieve such who do you think would be the key organization, actors, stakeholders to target or to go to, and how to proceed?
The ones who mainly managed to be able to make a real breakthrough in the past years are organizations, be it companies or NGOs or even sometimes like people who have been working on this. Like they are mature, they have years of experience, they have managed to build a good community and a good brand, and there are like a select few that have managed to do real impact in Tunisia. I don't know if I can name companies. I don't know if I can do that, but the ones that have managed to work on that have managed to bring to Tunisia Google multiple times. They have managed to bring to Tunisia NVIDIA. I can give names. I can. I don't know.
No problem. I think we have done. Okay, please.
So the few when you talk the few NGOs that have managed to do that, for example, if we talk companies, we have InstaDeep is one of the companies that managed to bring Google to Tunisia and create a local organization, like a group of a lot of university clubs with that. Then we have the NVIDIA with a PyData team. So PyData is one of the is one NGO that I am for now leading, and since they have an upbringing of 10 years or more, we got support from NVIDIA, and we managed to bring NVIDIA to Tunisia and certify hundreds of students and will build on long-term projects. And then we have the older NGOs that have been here for 5 years, 6 years. They can get the funds because on an international level, you cannot get anything if you don't have at least a bit of reputation, at least a bit of actual achievements. And so those are the people that we can build on. So people that have been for years, that have a lot of partners. The ones that I'm now looking at the logos here, they are people that can be able to grab the funds and opportunities and work with that. It's all about being able to take it to long term. We are good at short term, but we need to build something on the long term.
To be sustainable.
Exactly.
Sustainability is a really key word.
Exactly.
I will add networking is also another keyword that you are mentioning, so to get together and to... So, a final question, how to connect what you all you've said with open science, the topic of today.
So
where is open science in all of that?
So that's the thing. Since we have
to get back to the subject.
Since we have so many limitations and since there are so many obstacles, well, the good side of that is that let's say not North Africa, but let's say we're North Africa. So we've seen that in all of the continents and all the people, we have a lot of problems and limitations in Africa. And the good thing from that is that most people that enroll and finish courses and trainings with NVIDIA and with Google and manage to build up and win prizes and to go up the ranks are from Africa. Because of those limitations that we have, because of the lack of budget, because of all of that, they are the ones, those students and those people are the ones who are found the most in open workshops, in open research, in open communities, in everything that is open source, accessible, open for everyone, that you can replicate. That's where like Africans are the most represented and they are the most active on that. So it's actually created an opportunity, and now we actually, like in AI, we now have 2 conferences that have been created specifically to counter those limitations, and now they have a lot of support because they have turned that limitation into an opportunity through open science. So if you are looking to work on open science, be it open research, collaborations, funding, whatever, you will be sure to find Africans in there. They will be the most numerous in your group, and they will be the ones that want to do things. You just need to give them the proper support. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Ilyes. So we have 10 minutes finished, so we will go now. The transition to Ahmed Dagdori. He is a student at National School of Computer Science at 4th year, getting to his last year, final year, and he will begin by presenting himself, his project, and I will let you present everything. You have the...
No, I don't.
The remote controller for the presentation, please. 10 minutes, yes, Ahmed. Oui.
Ça va, ça va. Normalement يخدم مريك. Okay, hello and thanks for having me today. I'd like to first thank Mrs. Sousan and Mrs. Nargis for allowing me this opportunity. My name is Ahmed Al-Duri. I'm currently a computer science engineering student at the National School of Computer Science, ANSI. I'm also an intern at Actia Engineering Services and former president at the ANSI Robotics Association. Now, as you can see here, I'm here to talk about control theory and sensor fusion. And I have a pretty picture here of a drone. And to be honest, I know it's pretty, but the engineering behind it is actually much better and prettier. We're going to talk about these theories, and we're going to talk about their applications, mainly in robotics, and the examples of how we can improve on them in real life. So we're going to start with the intro, technologies. I'm going to talk a bit about my personal experience. Then we're going to go to real-world applications and conclusions. So to start with, what are robotics? Robots are machines that they get input and they produce output. That's the basic definition. And these machines are autonomous, which means that they rely on sensors. And here comes the sensor fusion aspect, that we get a lot of input from different sensors. We can, for example, get an array of sensors or different types. Usually, a mainstream example is the gyroscope, accelerometer, magnetometer, or sensor fusion example. And we give the output by many axiometers. And the result is basically a robot. But the robot needs to be able to control itself when it's moving. And here comes the control theory. Now, control theory, there are a lot of examples of control theories, but the main one I want to talk about today is the PID control theory, proportional, integral, and derivative control theory. It takes an input, and following that input, the error it takes, it corrects the position. Now, the applications of this aspect is varied, but however, what I want to say in this section is how control theory depends on sensor fusion. It depends on the application of sensor fusion and getting the info and the error from different sensors to maximize accuracy. And this works in real time. Now, I want to talk about a bit about my experience and how I got introduced to this domain. Now, last year I've been president of the Are Robotics Association, and it's been a great experience. I've participated in many competitions, events, and even organized events. And even now, I'm organizing another national event. And throughout this experience, I've seen a lot of robots. I've seen what we have in Tunisia, and I've seen what's out there. Now, what I started with is the basic or the most popular competition is line follower competition. In Tunisia, if you don't know, there are a lot of robotics competitions, and pretty much every single one of them has at least one line follower competition. This year we have won 7 of them. We basically killed the competition. And I myself have won 3. Now, what you see here is actually a line follower robot. This is from Amazon. This is a robot from Amazon warehouses. It is a robot that follows a magnetic line using magnetic sensors, an array of magnetic sensors. So the line follower robot is a basic robot that uses PID control in order to follow a line and not drift away from the line. They are very basic and useful and efficient at what they do when put in the industry. Now, I want to talk about SteadyBot, a PCD project that we've done in a university, and it's a 2-wheeled self-balancing robot. And the best to do is just presenting the robot. Now, I hope it works because it tends to be shy in front of a lot of people. Yeah, it's shy. It was working just a minute ago. So it's doing this in real time. And I can also remote control it to move forward, backward, and turn, but that's going to take a bit of time. So the main idea is to take the error of the position and use it to calculate how to correct the position. There is a lot of mathematics behind it. And basically, if I turn it here, the motors will turn in the opposite direction. If I do this the other way, the motors will turn in the other direction. And this takes a lot of calculations, a lot of mathematics, integrations, etc. And in order to make this project, I've had to go a lot deep into the PID theory, and I've basically implemented every aspect of it. But now what I think is a much better project, a much better presentation of this idea, is the drone. This is a drone that, this is a real photo that I took. It's a drone that we are currently developing. It's part of the Are Robotics Association projects. And the drone actually does the same thing as this robot, except it is doing it on air. It is trying to balance on air using 4 different motors. So in order to balance it, it balances on 3 axes, X and Y and Z axis, but this robot only balances on 1 axis. And yeah, it's basically a combination of everything that I have said before about this sensor fusion and control theory. And that's why I said the engineering behind it is beautiful. Now, I have been working on this project, and there are many reasons why I chose these kinds of projects, because I think there's meaning to it in real life, and there is benefit, and that we can do a lot to improve on what we have in Tunisia. So I want to talk a bit about real life and what there is out there in the world. What are the the main applications, what are the, in the highest level, we're talking about NASA, and then we're gonna go to talk about what we can do in Tunisia. So, simple examples are space rockets, AI-based humanoid robots, Mars rovers, self-driven cars, and many more. Now, just to explain a little bit, how does a space rocket go into air? How does it launch? Why doesn't it just fall? That's simple, right? Why does it go just straight up? That's PID control. If it goes a little bit, if there's a little bit of error, the PID control corrects it. And you do that by accelerating the speed of ignition and the heat of the motors. That is also controlled by another PID control. It's complicated, but there's a lot of control theory there. Now again, we can talk about AI-based humanoid robots, robots that are similar to humans. There are a lot of research in that, and they need to walk around basically. Mars rovers, we're basically Perseverance. All these robots that NASA sent, they have to walk on terrains that are very abnormal. And the last example is actually very interesting, which are self-driven cars. There are actually self-driven cars right now. It's not like a future technology. There are actually self-driven cars that can go on road. They are using a variety of sensors. Actually, last I checked, there are 29 different sensors. And the sensor fusion theory behind it is complicated. But what I want to say is that we can actually add AI on self-driven cars, and the end result would be a system of cars that go on road without accidents. Like the only thing that would cause an accident is a natural catastrophe that is unexpected. And so basically you get an almost deterministic system of controllers and cars. Now, of course, these are a bit far away from what we can do in Tunisia. Self-driven cars are closer. We can do them, but it's a bit imaginative. Now, what I want to talk about in Tunisia is actually the drone. Now, I see this as a big issue. Now, you've seen that I have a picture of a drone, and we're doing that drone. And now you might be asking yourself, isn't that a crime? And no, you can actually develop drones inside universities, but outside of universities and public usage is very, very limited, as you might know. And I see that as something that's really bad. Now, drones can be used in many different domains. Like I can say that, for example, agriculture, there are drones that throw seeds engulfed in how do you call it, mud that is filled with nutrition, and you basically you go around and you spread seeds, and they are used in large reforestation efforts, like in Asia and the Amazons. And there are other applications, like the camera, using the camera of the drone in photography. There's the security, there's package delivery, pizza delivery, etc. These kinds of services. There's a lot. Like these are the ones that I can say on top of my head. And it's really a shame that we can't develop this kind of technology in Tunisia. Imagine if we just let the people do what they can. Imagine the number of startups that open. Imagine even the other kinds of robots that we can develop. Imagine now you can see students work on their dreams, because like when you're a student, you might have the opportunity to start working on a drone, but you can never dream of opening a startup on drones, because that's kind of illegal. So it's very limited. But I believe there's a lot more to achieve, and I actually believe that using open science and using and sharing what we can do, sharing our projects, sharing the source code, can be really helpful to achieve this goal. And we can really, I don't believe this is actually impossible. It's easy to allow people to make drones, to make robots. And when you start with small things, other people are going to be inspired. And we've seen projects, we've seen the robot that filters air. That's actually quite insane. And seeing things like that actually make me happy. And I want to say, I want to see more robots in Tunisia. And so, in conclusions, there we have like sensor fusion and control theory are widely used in autonomous robots. I've explained that basically they're everywhere. There are thousands of applications. We can work in interesting and innovative projects in Tunisia, and drones are cool. And thanks for your attention.
حبيت نصفقوا زاد على الياس. أنا أقايك عايشك الياس.
شكرا جزيلا. نمر إلى الضيفتين صغيرتين كبيرتين تلميذتين كبيرتين في الإنجاز اللي مش يقدموه لنا، اللي هو إنجاز عمل تطوعي شخصي خارج عن الدراسة اللي مش يحكيوا لنا مش يقدموا رواحهم وجوفوا لاس لا.
So good morning everyone. My name is Rawat Rimish, and alongside with me today there's Hadil Halali. So first of all, I'd like to thank you for this amazing opportunity that you've given us to introduce our startup idea, Soundify. So without further ado, let's start. Imagine that God forbid you woke up one day and you've lost your voice, your ability to speak. Let's say your dream is to become a university professor. Well, how would you do it? Will you be able to communicate with your students? Well, are you most likely to be hired? Well, me as a presenter, would I be able to convey my startup idea as easily as I'm doing right now? Well, let's say I use sign language. Would you be able to understand me? Chances are that 70% of the time, the answer is no. These are struggles that sign language users face on a daily basis. People with aphasia, autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, and generally speaking, having a hearing deficiency face on a daily basis. Well, the solution could be summed up in one word, Soundify. What is Soundify, you may ask? Well, let's say I can give you a voice, a chance to translate sign language into speech and or text, interpret its different variants, and even adjust your voice to your liking, based on tonality, age, and even gender. This is a feature that we thought that we will keep for our premium users. Well, at Soundify, we are proud to introduce you to our project idea, which consists mainly of portable smart gloves that are able to interpret movements, translate them into sign language movements, and interpret them into speech and or text.
Okay. Aside from its main functionality, our product is designed to make this experience as comfortable and enjoyable as possible, with comfortable and eco-friendly material as well as a fashionable design. Alongside, we offer a mobile application that enables our users to set some features such as speech, sign language settings, as well as voice adaptability for our premium users. Now, to kick off our project, the first step would be to actually start with the market discovery, which is in fact unlimited. There is no language barriers, gender, age, nationality, you name it. Our application is intended to support all 300 variants of sign language. We could name, for example, American, British, French, Irish, and Tunisian, which is actually a mixture between French and Italian. We did also some further researches to look for statistics, numbers, and we concluded that there are more than 70 million sign language users around the world, with 53,000 in Tunisia, and more than 5% of the world's population having hearing deficiency. Interesting fact, isn't it? which meaning that the number of our potential client is significant enough to make this project. And just to let you know that this number is actually increasing day by day and is intended or estimated to reach 480 million in the year 2050. Now, for starters, we will be targeting tax-savvy people whose age vary between 15 and 64, preferably living in urban areas and having difficulties with verbal communication. As for our pioneer client, we will be targeting people with a speech deficiency, materially well-off, who use sign language and whose age vary between 15 and 30, including students or employees who need communication. So, now, let's talk finances. In this project, our main source of income would be the product itself, meaning the profits we gain from selling our product. But we can get also earnings from the application that we're going to develop for our users through in-app paid advertisements, in-app purchases for our premium users, and the possible collaborations we can have with different organizations or influencers. These are some of the organizations known worldwide. And here's a list of the most popular influencers on social media with whom we can collaborate. We've also collected some of the contacts of the organizations based in Tunisia. We can name, for example, Ishara.
So, what sets us apart, you may ask? Well, at Soundify, we aim to provide our customers with the best user experience ever, thanks to our precise and well-formed algorithms, fashionable and comfortable materials, and easy-to-use products. So, whenever our customer needs something, we're already 2 steps ahead in ensuring that it will happen. Well, when it comes to our competitors, there's no established companies in this specific field here in Tunisia. However, we can consider interpreters our main competitor, although the experience could be expensive and, quite frankly, hard on its users. Others may choose texting as a daily solution, but it is more or less convenient. And some may choose to limit their social circle to only sign language users and organizations, and sadly, some may even choose isolation.
For the people behind Soundify, we have Rawa Trimish as team leader, Hedil Hilali and Fadma Al-Aribi as team members, all soon to be 4th-year software engineering students at INSAT. We are also entrepreneur students with level L1 at Peak program, and 3rd prize winners in the recent 2nd edition of the national competition Carthage Innov Startup.
So as you may have noticed, we're 3 in this team and only 2 presenting. Our friend Fatma Al-Aribi couldn't make it today because of her internship, which takes place abroad in France. However, she sure sends her best regards. So for further information, please feel free to contact us on this email. And finally, thank you.
Thank you very much, Hedil and Rawa, for this nice presentation. And for sure, we will get back to you for questions later. So now we let the floor for Rihab Abidi, who's a doctoral student in belonging to University of Tunis in collaboration with the University of Normandy. And just to say that we have visited at least 3 universities, University of Manouba, University of Carthage, and here is University of Tunis. We have here we have 3 universities among 13 who are in Tunisia, and just to say that university in Tunisia, it's like our small ministry, regional ministry, to which belongs many institutions and organizations, both for higher education and research. Rihab, thank you. Please present yourself.
Good morning, everyone. Before starting, I would like to thank the organizers of this Congress, and I would like to thank Mr. Sinkrishan for giving me this opportunity. It's really an honor for me to present my thesis work in front of the elite of the research industry. So I'm Rihaba Bidi, a doctoral student, which is a thesis jointly supervised by the University of Tunis and University of Normandy. So my thesis is entitled Trust-Based Traffic Assessment Model for Congestion Control in Vehicular Networks. To do so, I will present the context that led to the existence of this thesis project, what has been done, the work in progress, and our future works. So as the name of the thesis, we are dealing with trust management for traffic congestion. So let's start by defining traffic congestion. I know you may say, no need to define it. Probably most of you have been stuck today or struggled to get in here in time because of traffic congestion coming from downtown, Bar, Dubai, Saadun, etc. But scientifically speaking, we can define the traffic congestion as it occurs when the traffic flow exceeds the capacity of infrastructure, which is mainly related to some recurrent causes, such as the increase of vehicle density during rush hours, or some non-recurrent causes, such as sudden events like accidents or simply bad behavior of drivers. So the traffic congestion, it has harmful impacts mainly that affects three domains. Namely, we can say the health and safety of road users. We can say due to accidents, some environmental also consequences due to the emission of carbon dioxide, and some economical impacts that can be characterized by the increase of fuel consumption, accordingly increase of transportation costs. So to deal with this problem, we can have a system that estimates current traffic state and to warn drivers about possible traffic congestion or possible accidents. It may be like a magical solution. However, in vehicular networks, nodes are exposed to different threats. We have also to consider that the information should be accurate without neglecting the fact that the information should be disseminated to the users in real time in order to give the drivers the ability to react in time and to avoid such problem. So the implementation of a trust management model, a robust trust management model, could help to overcome these constraints. So the main focus of our thesis is how to accurately assess the trustworthiness of these events and how to build and design a trust management model that is mostly adapted to the concentrates of the intelligent transportation systems applications. So mainly our vision is to migrate from traditional panels that only display traffic information coming from agents or from traffic management centers to more smarter panels that are able to collect and to aggregate information from sensors, let's say, to estimate their trustworthiness, process them, and finally display the output to the users. So the final product will look something similar to this dynamic message sign. These signs are already deployed in some countries. However, the difference between this sign and our panels is that our panels will be autonomous, and they have like certain intelligence allowing them to perceive the information, process it, evaluate its accuracy and relevance, and then display it to the users without human intervention. So the first step of the realization of this project was to investigate the state of the art, what has been already done in this research area. So we focused on the requirements and the mechanisms that are used for the intelligent transportation systems. We managed to detect these 5 requirements, let's say accuracy, scalability, robustness, privacy preservation, and having an appropriate response time according to the type of the application. So I don't want to delay much in here because of time constraints, but let me just say some techniques that are used for each requirement. For accuracy, let's say, some researchers interested in the information uncertainty awareness using Dempster-Shafer theory, fuzzy logic, etc. Others considered the context awareness or using incentive techniques to enhance or to encourage nodes to participate and to engage to the trust process. For scalability, different architectures have been used to try to have a stable performance of models regarding the network size. For the privacy preservations, some researchers considered the identity privacy by using digital certificates, digital signatures, or using conditional privacy to give the nodes in the network like a partial anonymity to preserve their identity. For location privacy, there is the construction of anonymous regions in order to camouflage like the circulation patterns of the nodes. For the robustness, mainly researchers interested in the attack's resiliency, they use techniques like blockchain, secret keys, incentive mechanism, decay factor to avoid these attacks, or others were interested in the prevention of second-hand authorization access, using blockchain, for example, or using bootstrapping to enhance the efficiency of the model. Finally, for the appropriate response time, there is some approaches that are implemented, for example, adapting the strategy of the process according to the application type or the processed information, or using lightweight techniques to reduce the cost of the communication or computation of the model, or simply using parallelism. So now the second step of the project is developing our own trust management model. So here we are interested, or we are currently developing a trust model that will evaluate the trustworthiness of detected traffic events and eventually evaluate the trustworthiness and the credibility of the information sources that report those events. And because we intend to develop a more comprehensive model, our model will consider the 5 detected requirements. So this is our vehicular network, how we are going to modelize it. Here we propose a infrastructure-based approach in which the intelligent panels will be the main component. We will also use different information sources. So we model our region into clusters that are managed by master panels, to which we associate several slave panels. So here, for example, this road is managed by that master panel, and it will evaluate the trustworthiness of events in collaboration with the slave panels. You can also imagine different clusters from here and from there. So this is the architecture of our panels. Here, whenever source information detects a new traffic event, let's say accident or traffic congestion, it will send the event to the nearest slave panel. Here, the event classification model will categorize the received information or events into groups of events using spatio-temporal information, and it will assign like a severity level to each group. The choice of this method is to increase the reactivity of our model, so high importance events like accidents will have higher response. Then, because we leverage the use of different information sources, the trust aggregation here we use the Bayesian inference model. We also use some contextual information such like the weather, having special events in that day to increase the accuracy of trustworthiness. And because, as you can see, here we are adapting an hierarchical architecture. Also, the use of this type of architecture is to reduce the communication and the computation cost of our model. We have also a trust aggregation in the level of the master panel to aggregate the trust evaluation of all the slave panels associated in the same cluster. We also have a reward and punishment function deployed on two levels. In the first level, in the master panel, it will be used to incite the slave panels and to control their behavior. And in the slave panel, it will control the behavior of information sources. So the reward and punishment function on the master panel will proportionally affect the reward and punishment model in the slave panel. The idea is analogical with companies' structure, in which both they can either reward or punish their managers, who will by their turn reward or manage their employees based on the feedback of the boss. We also use the blockchain technology to have like a traceability of the trust evaluation of slave panels and information sources. And we propose here a new lightweight consensus mechanism based on the trust. So basically, that's what have been done. So we studied the state of the art. We submitted a survey paper in this context. Currently, we are working on the development of the trust model. Now we are running the test scenarios to validate it. Eventually, we will submit a journal paper with these findings. And regarding our future work, we intend to assess the trust values also of the master panel. So we will have like a dynamic panel clustering using this trust evaluation, and we will also consider a more generic granularity. So we will pass from sub-regions to more generic regions while considering the collaboration between smart panels and inter-class communication. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for this nice work in progress, and wish you all the great to finish and to have these smart panels in Tunisia. I wish to get them very soon. I think that we would help us every morning, and even so. Here we have just finished the presentations of our brilliant students and. I would always say our students. If you have any questions, please. I will. Who can help me? Thank you. We have one there, and we can get 1, 2, 3, 4.
شكرا. عادل العليمي أستاذ بالمدرسة الوطنية للمهندسين بصفاقس ورئيس IEEE أفريكا. ملاحظتي موجهة للياس، يعطيهم الصحة للشباب الكل. الياس الكلمة متاعه مستني وقت اللي يقول أنه على ليفل فيه 100 درجة في تونس. احنا محضنا متاع متفوقين، لكن وقت اللي نوصلوا للمستوى 20 30 يتخطفوا ويمشيوا. انا نشوفها حاجه ايجابيه برشا. نتصور انه الهند اليوم اذا كان اصبحت متطوره جدا، ولا الصين وغيرها من الدول، راهو بسبب المبدعين المتميزين الشباب نتاعها اللي خرجوا للخارج، خاصه لامريكا، تكونوا وبعد رجعوا. فحبيت نقترح عليك يا الياس مشروع، فكره اللي احنا كاي تريبل اي في تونس مستعدين نقفوا معكم فيها. معنا اناكتوس، ما عادش تمشي هنا شكون من اناكتوس. احنا كنا امس في سيمينار منظمه اليونسكو وتحالفنا على الشيء هذا. تونيفيزيون على الاقل لازم اكبر 3 جمعيات شبابيه في تونس. نقترح عليكم ميثاق المسؤوليه المواطنيه للمتميزين. ميم 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 ميم. المسؤوليه، ميثاق المسؤوليه المواطنيه للمتميزين، كما الار اس او للشركات، ريسبونسابيلتي سوسيتال دي زونتربريز. بالانجليزي نجم نقولوا ناشونال ريسبونسابيلتي اوف ذا ديستنجويشد تشارت، اللي نبثوها كبذره عند الشباب وقت يقراوا، كما شفنا سيد احمد وكما شفنا البنات وغيرهم. مسؤوليه بسيطه يا خويا، تميز. احنا تونس ننشئوا المتميزين، خلي يخرجوا لبرا، ما عادش بيه. العالم اليوم مفتوح، احنا في اوبن ايديوكيشن، العالم الكل مفتوح، ولكن بذره الوطنيه تقعد. وبعد وقت اللي يوصل، انت قلت بعد 3 4 5 سنين يصبح سينيور، فقط يتذكر اللي عنده بلاد اسمها تونس، ويقدم، يتذكر هكا الميثاق، ويقدم مثلا مره كل شهر مداخله حتى عن بعد للشباب. يتبنى شاب في مراحله الدراسيه باش يصبح متميز كيفه، يجي في عطلته يعطي 5 ايام في كوتشنج، في ورك شوب، في احنا اكتشفنا عديد المبادرات من عند الشباب، ونخلي لك انت ولا الشباب اللي كيفك الفكره لتطوير الافكار هذه، فقط انه هكا الناس اللي يخرجوا لبرا يتبناوا غيرهم من الشباب، وتصبح هكاك محضنه، واللي ما تنجم الا تطور بلادنا، لانه بطبيعته هو يقعد مربوط ببلاده باش يخلق هنا مشاريع ويلقى اوبورتونيتيز. شكرا.
شكرا سي عادل. لو تسمحوا ناخذوا زوز اسئله اخرى ومن بعد نعطيهم للولاد. تفضل تفاعل.
طيب شكرا جزيلا. I will speak in English, of course. This is an excellent panel, and the presentations are excellent. So I have a little bit of a mix between comments and questions to each of the panelists. الأستاذ إلياس I think you were disadvantaged that you did not attend yesterday, or otherwise your ideas of open science would have been great, because you are well-rounded in terms of what you're doing and what needs to be done. And if you know more about open science, and I recommend that you can take all the recordings of yesterday and sift through that, and you will get great ideas to push forward open science in your domain. اللي بعده Ahmed Al-Duri. Frustration is good. It's a sign that we might expect to get more of you. But you attended yesterday and you saw that part of open science are policies. And what you really need to do is, if you group up all the associations, for example, working on drones or AI in general, you can actually lobby for better policies and regulations, legislative stuff in the country, maybe because it's a new field. But Ministry of Communication, I think, might be worthwhile to, if you present them with an idea of a policy or a regulation that would allow certain uses of drones. Usually you start with something very acceptable, and then the sky is the limit. Don't ask for everything from the start. Soundify, it's, what can I say about the project? The project is an excellent idea, but you cheated on us. You did not show us any demonstration. And I would like to see the application, or is it not done yet? Is it talk? This is one. You even used an algorithm in the design of the application. You said that. صح? So what type of algorithm is that? بس يعني to make us get a feel that it's not just a presentation and a talk. And last but not least, are you doctor yet or
Student, still
a student, a PhD student?
Yes.
You made an assumption that your panel is going to be much smarter than the ones that we saw in the picture. Is that a solid statement? Because I know a lot of the Department of Transportation, part of civil engineering in a lot of universities in the US, and they use smart applications. So I just want you to check or just confirm with me, where did you get the fact that you are making an assumption that the panel that you're designing is much smarter than those we saw in the photo? But I think it's excellent work, and it will be visited once you have 1 or 2 published papers before your defense. If you can do that, then we are happy that your work is unique. And I leave you to respond.
Thank you very much, Professor Nizar. I will let them answer. تفضل.
Now?
Yes, yes.
For the, just for the for both?
Both, yes.
Okay.
And we get it.
Okay, so I will do that. I will do that. I would know there were recordings. Thank you. And there are actually a lot of initiatives done by individual people that start with that, but they never finish through. So it would be an amazing idea if you could help us to work on the long term. On the short term and distribute it, there are a lot of people that are trying to do that, but they never finish because of constraints, time, whatever. So if it would be backed by an organization, or even multiple, as you said, that would be amazing. I would love to be able to communicate more, and after the panel, I'd love to get your contact for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the comment for the and the question. Actually, about that, we've already said that we actually participated in the national competition in Carthagena of startup, and we have the label. We're actually initiators, so we actually still in the ideation phase. So this presentation actually we've presented in this competition as for this level. It's supposed to be focusing on developing the studying the market, doing this part. Like, it's not the development. We still didn't start with the development, but we actually prepared a prototype for the mobile application, but we couldn't present it.
Just to add to that, as Hadil said, we are in the ideation phase, but we prepared the prototype, and we started to get a clear idea about the sensors that we will be using in the technologies. However, we cannot really say that because we're in an early stage of creating the startup idea. So as long as I don't have my label, I can't really say everything. That's the idea.
And for the algorithm, actually, because part of the product, we're going to use machine learning to capture, we're going to use the sensors to capture the movements, and there is this part that this machine learning part to use. So we're going to use an algorithm. We're going to develop an algorithm for that. So if that clarifies it. Okay.
Thank you for your question and your intervention. So my claim is that our panels will be smarter. Here, the smartness of our panel will come from the autonomous of our panels. To the best of my knowledge, the deployed smart panels that are already deployed in the countries, they do not have full autonomy of their information. Maybe they have sensors, they perceive data, they can process it, but to the best of my knowledge, these data are always sent to traffic management centers or traffic administrators to take the decision, which will be eventually displayed on the panels. I will be happy if you can share with me some of your contacts of the traffic administrators, because this is one of the struggles that I'm facing. I want to contact with some experts to have some brainstorming, and even for the validation of the model, we are using real data from the US, specifically from Austin City. So we collected data from sensors that are video cameras, radars, and accidents and traffic reports to validate this model. So yeah, basically, maybe I'm not 100% sure, but now, based on what I know, based on what I found, there is no full autonomous smart panels that they can work on their own without human intervention. And thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. But there has been attempts before to talk to the government, to talk to the ministry about these regulations on drones, but they were scattered and they were not very successful. So it might be a good idea to use my connections and all the associations I know and the community that we have in Tunisia. Yes. Also, I'd like to add a bit about the Soundify project. It's a big part of it is actually in my domain. The sensors and the sensor fusion that I talked about before. There are many different kinds of sensors that could be used in this project, and it's actually really interesting, a really interesting application. These kinds of sensors that we put on our hands, and we can even develop full body sensors. They exist right now. This input could be translated into a 3D 3D model that we can train an AI on it, and maybe possibly this could work. If this works, then we can translate. This is one idea of application. I don't really know what you had in mind at first, but like this might be helpful.
ميرسي، شكرا جزيلا لكل التفاعلات. سؤال اخير، ما نجمش نقول لك لا. اخر سؤال. لا مش سؤال هو ولا ملاحظه. الاستاذه
نستدعي الأستاذة بسمة نهى الشاوش. تفضل مدام. أستاذة عربية في كلية 9 أبريل جامعة تونس. باش تعطينا يوسف اجا بحذانا.
لحد ما لا ما عندي مشكلة، مش لحد ما توصل الدكتورة. أنا بس بدي أحكي كلمتين للشباب يعني. أنا بهنيكم، أنا ما حضرت كل شيء، بس الجزء اللي حضرته رائع جدا. إحنا بالمنظمة العربية لشبكات البحث والتعليم عندنا مؤتمر سنوي، وراح نعمل كومبيتيشن بين الناس الطلاب، وراح يكون في جلسة خاصة للطلاب، فإن شاء الله تكونوا جزء من التحدي، وبنقبلكم إن شاء الله على حسابنا تحضروا المؤتمر السنوي وتشاركوا فيه بشيء يعني يكون متميز زي ما أنتم اليوم. وبس شكرا دكتورة سوسن، خلتنا نعرفكم.
حبينا نوضحوا للعلوم الإنسانية والاجتماعية مهمة ياسر في العلوم الكل، وهي اللي ترتكز عليها العلوم. فخلينا نعطي الكلمة للأستاذة بسمة نهى الشاوش اللي نورتنا وشرفتنا، أستاذة متاع عربية. تفضل مدام، قدم روحك.
شكرا سيدتي الكريمة. ماذا يمكن أن تقول مدرسة الأدب العربي والترجمة في محفل العلم اليوم؟ يجب أولا أن أتقدم بالشكر الجزيل إلى من تصنع الحياة حيث تمر، هذه السيدة الكريمة. أشكرها على إتاحة هذه الفرصة العظيمة في تقديري الخاص، لنتبين أن الحلول موجودة دائما، وأن الآفاق مفتوحة دائما، وأن لدينا هذا الكنز العظيم، هذا الكنز الذي أعتبره، ونحن نستعمل الاستعارة دائما في مجالنا، أعتبره درا منثورا ينتظر صائغا يصوغه سوارا جميلا يزين به معصم تونس ومعصم العالم العربي كله. فمع كل تقديري لزميلي الكريم الأستاذ عادل فيما قاله واتفاقي معه فيما قاله، أقول إنني أطمح إلى ما أكثر وإلى ما وراء ذلك. أود أن يكون هذا السوار على معصم تونس أولا، ثم نعم العالم مفتوح، ونحن في تونس معروفون بأننا منفتحون دائما على هذا العالم، ولكن الفرص حين تكون في مصدرها من تونس، أليس من الأجدر أن تكون الثمار أيضا في تونس؟ فهذا لب ما أردت قوله، مع شكري الجزيل إلى هذه الطاقات العلمية وهذه الأدمغة الراقية في تونس وفي خارج تونس. شكرا يعني أصدقائنا من العالم العربي الذين شرفونا بحضورهم معنا اليوم، وأتمنى أن تكون هذه الملتقيات فاتحة تنمية حقيقية وفاتحة مشاريع استثمارية حقيقية في بلادنا وفي العالم العربي. ما أسعدني اليوم بهذا المحفل العلمي العظيم، فالشكر لكم جميعا.
عايشك مدام، يعطيك الصحة. ما عادش نجم نتكلم أنا توا، يظهر لي. بارك الله فيكم، أنا فخورة بكم برشا برشا برشا. نورتوا تونس ونورتونا في المؤتمر هذايا، متأكدة لي أحسن سيسيون هي السيسيون نتاعكم أنتم. فيف لا جونيس، إن شاء الله ربي يعيشكم، وإن شاء الله ديما تنوروا تونس وتنوروا العالم العربي، ويعطيكم الصحة، يعطيكم الصحة غير من قلبي.
كما قالت سوسن تنفذ الكلمات، باش نقول اللي هذا بذرة نوع، كيفاش تقولوا شانتيون بالعربي ما نعرفش انا ديما نضيع. هذه معناها مثال مصغر عينة من طاقات اللي والحمد لله احنا نقول في تونس موجودة في الصغار وفي الكبار. كل ما هو موجود في القاعة هذه يظهر لي يشاركك سيدتي الكريمة الاعتقاد كونه كنا عندنا ما نعطيه ونعطيه لولادنا ونحبهم بحذانا. سي فغي كيما كل ام تحب ولدها بحذاها وتحبوا يكبروا قدامها. نتمنى لكم كل خير ونتمنى لكم نمدوا لكم يدينا. احنا نقول اذا موجودين ليكم وبيكم، اذا هنا باش نمدوا لكم يدينا من كل كيما ريتوا دعوه مباشره افكار. الكل عندكم افكار نيره وكبيره واكيد تعلمونا برشا واحنا هنا باش نتعلموا. انا نقول الختام هذا الكل ما شاء الله عليكم، ربي يوفقكم. موجودين معاكم باش نتبادلوا ونثري ونتعلم. وراهو الحاجه اللي نقولوها سامحوني مش نرجع ديما، احنا دائما تلامذة قدامكم، قدام العلم، قدام هالاماكن هذه اللي هما فريمون نشجعوكم. واذا كان ما نوصلوش المشاكل يا احمد والولاد الكل رانا ما نجموش نقدموا ديما. حتى في الانفورماتيك فاش نقراو فيكم في الاعلاميه لوبستاكل لو بوزوان لا بروبليماتيك، من بعد تجي الحاجه ام الاختراع. حتى القوانين وحتى كل شيء احنا نكتبوه احنا نخدموه. دونك لازمكم انتم تكملوا وتواصلوا واحنا معاكم. وحاجه اخرى قالها السي عادل اللي انا نشاركوا فيها، راهي انا ديما نقول بالنسبه باش نختم بتاتر كلمه نرجع لمؤسستنا. لو سلوغان كون شوازي بور ليكول ناسيونال دي سيونس دو لانفورماتيك، او بور اكسلونس، ان بور نتوركينج، S pour sustainability et I pour innovation. Quand on est ingénieur, on ne peut pas durer si on n'innove pas. وإذا كان لوجه l'excellence elle n'a pas de limite. وهذا الكل حسب بفضل النتوركينج اللي هو في الداخل والخارج. كما تفضلت وقلت انا علاش ما يكونش فما ان نتورك دو تو لي كلوب دو توت لي اسوسياسيون. الميثاق المصغر عملنا منه في المؤسسه، عملنا لو كونساي دي كلوب في مؤسستنا ويشهد احمد بهذا. ما كان الشيء هين كونه نشبكوا الجمعيات مي راهي حاجه مزيانه برشا كي نشبكوا مؤسساتنا مدارسنا الهندسيه في النطاق التونسي في النطاق العربي. والحاجه اخرى الحاجيات اللي هي قالوها اولادنا اللي هنا باش نعطي الفرصه. قال لك حاجتنا بباتريير وحاجتنا بكالكول تو سكون بارل بالذكاء الاصطناعي. هو القوه العظمى هي المعلومات. احنا ما حاجناش بها تكون معلومات فقط، نحبها تكون معرفه وتكون حكمه. معناها بارل دو نوليدج اند ويزدم، معناها هذاك باش نوصلوا باش نستغلوها. وهذا ما ينجم يكون كان جماعه كيما سي سي كا وكيما غيرهم اللي هو باش نمشيو للكلاود كومبيوتينغ للكالكول. اذا فماش كالكول طون ريال، اذا فماش تكنولوجيا متقدمه، اذا ما فماش حاجيات وما فماش انفتاح على الجماعه الكل، يظهر لي ما نجموش نقدموا. انكور اون فوا ميرسي مدام، رانا في تونس مي ناخذوا هكا النقطه اللي مرتبطه بالعالم اجمع وهذا يشرفنا. وشكرا انكور للاستضافه الكريمه، خاصه لاستاذتنا سوسن اللي اعطتنا هالفرصه اللي باش نكونوا باش نشاركوا معكم هذه المعلومات. هي رجعت خواطر اكثر منها معلومات، وخاصه الاحساس المشترك والهدف المشترك اللي هو دائما العمل الامام وفي العلم المفتوح اللي لازمنا نكونوا احنا اول عباد انفتاح عنا. وشكرا.
نحب نتصور معكم هنا. اللي يحب يتصور يتفضل. راهو صافا توا يعطيكم الصحة وبثيتوا فينا برشا برشا أمل وحشتنا بالأمل الحقيقة أترافيغ فو. ربي يفضلكم إن شاء الله. روبودي باش تهزوا. أي صحة صح خويا. حبيت نقول لكم اللي جا بحثنا المدير العام للتعاون الدولي، اي حاجه تستحقوها سيمالك وشلافها وجا بحثنا. لي زيتيديون اللي حاجته بحاجه في الكوبيراسيون سيمالك. مدام نرجس يعطيك الصحه، بارك الله فيك. On passe à la session suivante. يعيشك تفضل بحثنا.